Danielle Pailly, and today I'd like to talk about trust, commitment, and betrayal in a relationship. So, I was thinking about a time when I was a teenager and I knew nothing about relationship coaching. I had very little dating experience, but there was a gentleman in my class. We were sitting in the hallway waiting for another class to end so that we could go into class. And he was really upset because he got in a fight with his fiance and she was no longer wearing his engagement ring. And he was so overwhelmed, he was crying. And me being the sympathetic ear was listening. I'm sorry you're feeling that way. I had no real great advice to give at that young age other than to listen and express some empathy. Fast forward, we go to class. We come out of class. I'm handed a note. This is back in the day. We did not have text messaging. You either had notes or a phone call. And in this note, he had asked me out on a date. The gentleman who was so overwhelmed with grief about losing his fiance. I did not write back. I found him in the hallway in a later time and very politely gave him a thanks, but no thanks. Um, no, I do not want to date you. And a polite suggestion, I hope things work out with you and your fiance. um, I can imagine what was going through his head now, and I'm not a mind reader, but just based on some of the studies and work that I've done. In that instance, his commitment to this fiance was non existent. She took off the ring, so fine, I'm not committed either. And whatever was going on there, he found a kind, sympathetic listening ear. And I imagine he was thinking things like, oh, Danielle's a really good listener. Oh, she's really patient. She doesn't get mad at me. Comparing me to something that I have nothing to do with. And I'm bringing this up as we fast forward to present day older and adult relationships. So much of my work comes from the Gottman method. I love their training and their information. And they talk about the sound relationship house. And in the sound relationship house, there's a foundation of commitment and trust. And then within that sound relationship house are the tools for conflict management, making each other's dreams come true, building that trust and commitment and admiration, and so forth. Problem is, if you do not trust your partner and you're not committed to your partner, one or the other, then the walls collapse, which was happening in the case of this young gentleman who is engaged. So, I want to talk about what it takes, the signs of good, healthy trust, good, healthy commitment, and the signs of betrayal. Now, when I talk about signs of betrayal, I'm not talking about a checklist where you can eye your partner and be like, they're betraying me. It's not like that. But I want you to check your own mindset if you are having conflict with someone to see if this resonates with you. Because when I'm talking about betrayal, I'm talking about a point of departure. You come to a crossroads where it's like, am I committed to this relationship or am I going to explore something else? And this something else could be an affair, it could be leaving the relationship. So, here are the 4 signs of betrayal. When you talk about your problems with someone else other than your partner, in a healthy relationship, you're talking to your partner and saying, I'm really upset about this. I'm concerned about this. Can we work through it? When you are talking to someone else, I don't mean talking to a friend and saying, I really flew off the handle in this conversation with my partner and I feel kind of dumb about it. Can I get your perspective as a friend? What could I have done differently? What do you suggest I do now? I'm not talking about a tried and true friend or family member or somebody you go to for perspective and support. I'm talking about your problems to that really good-looking coworker who sits with you and has all the good qualities and things that you wish your current partner had, but maybe suddenly is lacking. So you're talking to someone else about your problems shedding a negative light on your partner. And in doing that, you might be thinking, oh, well, this person I'm talking to, well, they're very sympathetic. They understand me. Ooh, they like to do all the same things I like to do. My partner doesn't like to do any of that. I'm more compatible with this person. So you start to think about all the qualities that are missing in your current relationship with this other person over here. And then maybe you start thinking, I could do better. Like, am I just resigning myself to something when I could have that when I have this? And the this is not going so well because maybe you're having some conflict. And you're looking at what qualities your partner is missing that somebody else might have. And then you might get really resentful, like, why doesn't my partner have these qualities? And you start thinking about all the negative things. And you know what? They're also annoying when they do this, that, and the other thing. So it becomes this downward spiral of all the things wrong with the person you're with versus this idealized potential of what's out there. So these are some signs that you need to check yourself if you see any of those talking to somebody else thinking, I can do better. They don't understand me, but you do. What's missing? I can find it elsewhere. Then you need to really either talk to your partner or talk to a coach or therapist and see if something can be done about this mindset. So here are 4 signs of commitment and the what you can do instead. Number 1, partners talk to each other about what's going on in their relationship. They feel like it's a safe space to say, honey, I'm really struggling because of this in our relationship. And you can have those conversations. And oftentimes, strong, healthy couples are not complaining about their partner to outside people. They're keeping that conflict in in the home and talking about it there. Now, there's always caveats. I'm not talking about abuse or things where you should be talking to outside people. I'm talking about general everyday concerns and not going and complaining about everything your partner does out in public. It's talking one-on-one with each other. The second sign of commitment is healthy partners focus on the good qualities and they express gratitude all the time. Thank you, honey, for doing this. Thank you for, I really appreciated when you picked me up after work, when my car was getting repaired, whatever it is, it's expressing gratitude. Even if you've expressed gratitude for those things in the past, it's not taking anything for granted. And the third is you treasure what you have in the relationship. That kind of, but piggybacks off of the focusing on the good and expressing gratitude, but you really think about all that you're gaining from being in this wonderful relationship, the support you receive in everyday aspects of life. And you're not thinking, well, if I were with that person, I could have this. Hey, we're on a fixed budget here, but if I were that person, with that person, I could be on a yacht, I could be, having the finer things in life. You're not thinking like that. A healthy couple is treasuring what they have and they're like, I am so lucky. I wish everyone had what we have. And number 4, it's every single day choosing that person. So when you're committed, it goes beyond the wedding day of saying I do. It's every day you're making this conscious choice of I choose this person. I choose you, you choose me. And that means not choosing someone else, not getting distracted by someone else, even when there are some tricky ups and downs within a relationship. And finally, the 4 signs that there is good trust within the relationship. Number 1, the person is reliable. When they say they're going to do something for you, they follow through consistently time after time. Obviously, things come up. Sometimes you say, I promise I'm going to be on time and I'm 5 minutes late. Things happen. I'm talking about consistently keeping promises. The second is being transparent. It's kind of a concern if you're walking by your partner who's looking at something on their phone and all of a sudden they put it behind their back, right? It's trusting that whatever issues there might be between you, whatever might be happening in their lives, there's full transparency and insight into each other's worlds. Third, you can be vulnerable with your partner. You can say, I'm struggling. You can say, I'm feeling really insecure. Like when that really good looking woman came over and started chatting you up, like that made me feel really, so I need you to tell me that you find me attractive and I'm the only person for you. So being able to be vulnerable with your weaknesses and share whatever those weaknesses are. And the fourth is counting on the other person to be there for you. And that this is a big one. The biggest thing about trust is knowing that you can count on your partner to support you in the way that you need, and you will support them in the way that they need at a moment's notice. No questions asked. You are there for each other. And if it's not there in your relationship, then it's having an honest conversation and asking, what do you need from me to establish, to build, or to rebuild trust? And having your partner say, okay, I understand, I can do that. I will reassure you when you need reassuring or whatever it is. So if you've experienced these things in your own relationship or have some insight to share about what has worked for you and your partner, I welcome comments below. I welcome questions below about anything we talked about here. And please feel free to visit my website. And if you'd like, contact me to continue the conversation. Thank you so much.